Hello, I'm back, and I am continuing the Halloween 2021 slate here. So tonight, as I did several days ago, I attended a theatrical showing of a new film that falls under the horror uh, umbrella. Also, a foreign film like Titan was. Titan was French and won the Palme d'Or at Cannes, and this film won Un Certain Regard prize at Cannes, and it is, I believe, Icelandic. Um, Two films could not be different, more different. So, uh, I really didn't have an opinion about Lamb going in. I didn't really know anything about it, but I had correctly discerned the basic premise from the trailer. A little more cut and dried, straight ahead, low key kind of film, well, by far, than Titan. Um, so this movie, though, what they do have in common is there's definitely a lot of subtext and emotional attempts at emotional heft in the film. Now, whether they're successful in either movie, I think that's up to the individual. A good friend of mine felt Titan failed at that. I felt that it succeeded beautifully. I think we kind of are on the same page about Lamb, though. So Lamb, uh, I really wasn't familiar with anyone involved with Lamb, and I've forgotten the Icelandic director's name. Emmy, but the star is Numi Rapace. I guess a superstar over there. She was in the original Millennium trilogy or the Girl Who trilogy. The girl who played with fire, the girl who kicked the hornet's nest. Um, I'm probably forgetting the most famous one title. There were three with her in them as Lisbeth Salamander. Lisbeth Salander. I think she was like I know she was like this kind of loner, a hardcore punk, super hacker. And she had a friendship with an older guy, and they were fighting all kinds of criminal elements and trying to deal with their own kind of personal demons at the same time. And I loved those movies. I thought they were great. The Icelandic ones, and they were kind of like a series. Um, that unfolded. They were originally television films, um, and they came out like once a year. Um, the Girl with the Dragon Tattoo was the first. I'm kind of looking them up now. And then The Girl Who Played with Fire. Um, yeah, so they were based on these novels by Swedish writer Stieg Larsson. Yeah, and they're a trilogy, and they're commonly called, at least among fans, as the Millennium Trilogy. I'm not sure the significance of that, why they're called that, but I have not read the books. The book series has carried on without Stieg Larsson. I think he's deceased. I believe he wrote a fourth book, which was made into a film, but a different actors played the characters. And then, of course, David Fincher, for some odd reason, made a American remake called. Uh, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble remembering the first book because it's so popular. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, in which James Bond Daniel Craig played the male character, the mentor, I guess, slash, I don't want to say lover, but they had an interesting connection. And then Lisbeth was played by Rooney Mara. So anyway, uh, so this stars Numi Rapace. Of course, she went on to do some work in Hollywood herself, notably in the disastrous uh, 1-2 prequel to Alien that Ridley Scott did. He directed both of them, And I've got to say that I hated both of them. Hated Prometheus slightly less than I hated Alien Covenant. Um, but yeah, Numi Rapace has a starring role in Prometheus, and I liked her character. And then the sequel, Alien Covenant, I think there's like flashbacks, or she's already dead. But anyway, uh, that's something I've seen her in. That was like a Hollywood film. So to beef up my trivia here, yes, this is an Icelandic film in the Icelandic language with English subtitles. The director's name was Valdimar Jóhannsson. So he co-wrote it with, uh, I think he co-wrote it with a relative. Uh, no, someone just named Sion, S-J-O-N. I'm not sure who that is. Possibly a notable person in Iceland. Yes, an Icelandic poet, novelist, and lyricist. Has performed with the Sugar Cubes and the Orc. His works have been Ask Giant Triumph. His works have been translated into 30 languages. What a bizarre, enigmatic character he is. And he was born in Reykjavik, Iceland, and that's a really major, or if not capital city in Iceland. And it's even alluded to in this movie. So that's what it is. So what's it about? Well, basically, Numi Rapace plays well. There's a husband and wife, and basically they run a farm, and there's a lot of activity with the animals, and from the beginning there's kind of these I guess omens or premonitions. My husband is named Ingvar, and Numi plays Maria. The other characters are Ingvar's boorish brother Pator, who comes to stay with them, and I don't really, yeah, he was kind of a piece of shit. Then we'll get back into that. So now that I've gotten my info square, um, they're just attending the farm. I guess they're, I don't know, independently wealthy, or thus they make their living on the land. It seems to be many acres that they own or are in charge of, and they have all kinds of animals. They have a lot of lambs, sheep, and horses. They have a pet dog, a pet cat. Those are the key animals. In the beginning, the horses are fleeing from something. You can see all four kinds of animals. Their senses are perked up. I guess that there's something malevolent, in the air on the horizon. I really liked that element. All the animal actors were standing. Some people laugh at me when I say things like that. I know they have to be trained, and sometimes you just have to trick them into, behaving a certain way just to get it one quick shot. But I think, there is a level where they're performing. They know that you are maybe not capturing what they're doing on some kind of electronic device, but you are paying attention to them. You're focused in on them. Because my cat always knows when I'm going to take a picture of him, and he stops and he poses. And a lot of animals do this. So the they're tending to the lambs. I mean, it's a very quiet, pastoral, low key, slow moving film. It's on the A24 distributor label, so that alone is going to make a lot of people go see it. I've talked about them on this channel. I've praised their great qualities and kind of spoofed on some of their less great qualities, and some of their fans are over the top, maybe over the edge. But that's okay. I'm like a quasi fan. I had to quit the Facebook group for A24. It was just insane. But so the question I immediately thought of was, and I play this game with my good friend Tim Tolbert and channel patron, and does it have A24 vibes? And people would ask these kind of things about movies that weren't on A24 on the group. It was really bizarre. Some of the A24 movies themselves didn't have A24 vibes. I personally thought that the extraordinarily overrated Uncut Gems had like zero vibe power. Um, but in any case, this one definitely does. Yes, it's kind of eerie, creepy. You can expect that it's the same distributor as, say, Robert Eggers' work or Ari Aster's. Kind of folk horror, though. This is definitely modern day. And they're industrialized, on their farm. Um, but yeah, it's kind of in another land and kind of pastoral. I mean, Midsummer is folk horror, and it's obviously in the modern day. Though they go to a community that's kind of a throwback, it's this ancient Swedish cult. Um, in this film, uh, as the film unravels, it's hinted at more in the trailer, but in the film, it's not really made clear until near the end of the film that apparently Maria has had some miscarriages by Ingvar. So she really wants a child. I mean, but she doesn't talk about this. There are long stretches with no dialogue. Um, it's a lot of hints and visual kind of storytelling, and then some kind of incidental conversations that seem to be just kind of idle conversations between the husband and wife. Like they talk about developing a time machine. People are going to develop a time machine. I hope the music in the background is not too loud or cutting me off here. But um, he talks about going into the future, and she's like, "Well, they could also go into the past, right?" To me, that's the first hint that yeah, well, they would like to go into the past and maybe undo the damage, undo the miscarriages of their children, all of whom are buried on the property, and one is named Ada or Ada, ADA. So they spend a lot of time with the lambs, and some of the lambs give them some bizarre looks. And of course, there's male and female, and the males with the big horns, and of course, they immediately animals with horns. I think are totemic. Is that the right word I'm looking for? Kind of a magic kind of word. They're they're evocative of all kinds of things. Goats obviously have been likened to Satan and things like that, and um, there was some of this in The Witch by Robert Eggers, but it's in all through history and all through mythology and works of art and films. So it's nothing new, but most of the lambs seem very calm and sweet, but some of the ones with horns, we got to watch out for them. So one of the female lambs who has given birth, uh, a difficult birth to a lamb, then gives birth, and the our two stars are completely bewildered as to what's going on. Hold on one second. I will pause this and return to fix this. Okay, so I turn the music down a tad. But anyway, um, we don't see the kid. Now, in the trailer, you do see, some long shots of the kid, and you kind of, you see basically what looks to be a small humanoid, a small boy or girl, in like a coat and galoshes and stuff, with a lamb's head. So going into it, I already knew, well, I already could deduce that this is what happens. That somehow a human lamb hybrid has been born, and they name it Ada, and well, the mother immediately embraces it as their child. They dote on them. The father seems a little weirded out at first, but he quickly climbs on board. And this child, you finally see a reveal when they take some covers off, and got a lamb's head, and there's one part of the body, I believe the right, there's like white fur here and up halfway on the back is the shoulder blades, and then down the arm, and then there's a little lamb's like paw. The other side is a perfectly formed human hand and flesh, and the rest of the body, what little hint you get out of it is that it's human. Who knows? But it is, and it is a female. We don't go into the how that part looks. Um, so Ada grows very fast. I'm going to just guesstimate that this film takes place over a period of a few weeks, though it could take place longer or shorter, but definitely long enough to where Ada is standing up, upright like a human on 2 feet, 2 legs, and still sleeping in her crib though. And the crib is in the same room as the parents, and it's kind of sweet. And the way they did this with makeup and CGI, I mean, it's a curious little creature, and you can tell it's growing up fast mentally too. It doesn't speak like a human, but it does like agree, disagree, acknowledge. Um, when it's born, you hear a cry that is halfway through a sheep's bah, and halfway through a baby crying. It's pretty wild. Um, so uh, these three are in their own little world and happy. And no one's gonna see or fuck with their mutant kid, and it's as it should be. So into this comes a problematic character, the inciting incident character, Peter. He is the brother of Ingvar, and he's pretty much just a piece of shit. He's like some bum that some criminals strand out there for his brother and sister-in-law to take care of. There are some hints that either he had an affair in the past with Maria, but really it's more like a situation where he's very jealous of his brother and he just is obsessed with trying to fuck her. Kind of reminded me of a Serbian film where Milos and his wife are very happy together, even though they're broke. He has to, I've done a review of a Serbian film. It's one of my most watched videos, go figure. But Milos has a brother who's a cop, and he's so obsessed with the wife and jealous that like just visiting her while she's cooking dinner, he has to run to the restroom and jerk off. So this guy doesn't do that, but he actually leans in for kisses, and he pretty much makes it clear, hey, we're gonna fuck. And she politely but very firmly keeps him at bay, which is good. At first, he's utterly repulsed and rude about the kid, his nephew and niece. I'm sorry, and though I think he kind of calls him a male, seems to refer to him as a male, but I'm pretty sure the parents refer to it as a female. So this guy's just an ignorant lout. He finally starts to. Well, he takes the kid out, and he's got a rifle, and he's gonna kill it. And the next scene, one of the characters, the dad or mom, I think a dad comes into the living room and Peter's sleeping peacefully with the kid, cuddly. So the kid charmed him. So he seems to like the kid better. He doesn't seem like he wants to murder him anymore. He seems like really his main goal is to sponge off of them and fuck the wife. And I guess he's just accepted that, hey, this mutant kid's part of the package. So as long as I can achieve those other two goals, I'm all good. I'll leave the kid to its own devices. Briefly, you start to think he's not that bad a guy, but then they all get drunk one night, and the dad passes out. Ingvar passes out. Ada wanders off, and Peter tries to foist himself sexually upon Maria, and she locks him in this room where he just kind of curls up and goes to sleep overnight. Ada wanders outside. That's where the expressions they have for this character are incredible. Kind of implacable, kind of sweet, always kind of alien, but the eyes are always very expressive and very curious, like a lot of animals are, but obviously with a human intellect back there. And she goes outside, and one of the, like I said, there's different animals that are constantly kind of alert to what's going on in the vicinity, the atmosphere. The horses, they don't play up as much as in the very beginning. It's all the horses, but throughout, the pet dog and cat do. The cat bonds with Ada. The dog seems perpetually suspicious of Ada, but keeps his distance. So Ada comes outside, and the dog runs towards something, and you see in Ada's eye kind of a looming man-like figure. and the dog whimpers, and yeah, it's killed apparently. Takes them quite a while to get back to that plot thread, though. Uh, Basically, the next morning, Maria's had enough, and she drives Peter to a bus stop way out, because they're way out in the middle of nowhere, and it's like pretty much good luck or whatever, and good riddance. No, she doesn't say that, but I'm thinking that. I'm thinking she's way too nice to this guy. But at least now, mission accomplished. He's gone. She won't get raped or kill the kid or do some, live loaf off them forever. So I'm thinking there must be another character. So Peter's not really the ultimate threat. I don't know if you call him a red herring, but who is this being that man, whatever it is that kills the dog, and where is it? Um, so Numi Rapace, Maria, she comes back, and the dad has decided to go and retrieve his tractor, which the dullard Peter drove with the kid out past their farm a good ways, and then it conked out on him. Ingvar's better with mechanics. He repairs it, and him and the kid are, you know, I think oh no, he doesn't repair it. He tries to repair it, almost gets it started, and then Ada kind of wanders off, and he's trying to find Ada, and then he's shot, um, in the neck. And the thing is, okay, so there's the rifle, and like, okay, Peter's gone, so I guess it was a guy that killed the dog. Now is killing him, and then shoots him in the chest or stomach. So he's dying, and finally Maria finds him as he's dying. He doesn't manage to tip off, what happened. And what happened was, as he was dying, you see the shooter, and the poor little lamb with the lamb paw is holding on to the dad. Obviously, doesn't want to leave who she considers her father. Uh, Great shot. This is kind of like not as glorious, but this the closest this movie will come to a moment like in Antichrist by Lars von Trier, where William Defoe encounters the speaking fox who intones "Chaos reigns." So in this one, there's no speaking, but you know, the being that shot the rifle, you know, uh, is not human. It is a bipedal, a humanoid, covered in kind of grayish brownish fur, but its head is kind of a lamb, a goat, more like a goat, big horns, but kind of a humanoid kind of expression. Definitely a humanoid creature, but also uh, part lamb. Uh, so I don't know. So that being, I discerned, in my opinion, anyway, it is the biological father of Ada, and this sheep man, um, whatever this goat man, whatever it is, it rather than steal some poor human female, he knocked up a sheep, and hence you have Ada. And Peter had already mentioned to Maria, and this was actually the final draw as to her ditching him, kicking him out, taking him away. Was he said, does Ada know that you killed her mother? And that's true, because the mother came back around at one time and was kind of staring intently. It took me a while to kind of, I didn't really, I thought it was some kind of uh, almost like a supernatural sign, like this one lamb kept coming around and looking at Ava, and then she shoots it and kills it. I think this is all done with the same rifle, by the way. Uh, I don't know how the brother found that out. I don't know if he was spying on her, whatever. But yeah, it was the mother, I believe, from his commentary. And so the father is the father. This creature, this woodland mythical creature, is returning to get his offspring and I guess avenge his. I don't know if it was his wife or just his, one night stand or whatever. But um, So yeah, he kills the adoptive father and pulls Ada away. It's very sad, and he looks really cool. Um, I almost wish they'd done him like stop motion. It looks like they combine practical makeup with CGI. Stop motion would have been cool, but I don't know. Maybe that would have taken some people out of the movie too much. But um, and Maria finds the husband's body, and he really isn't able to say what happened. So she starts looking, and I don't know. There's like these long takes on her, and of course she's crying part of them, and I keep thinking she's going to pick up the rifle and go find them and I don't know. I guess all the things you expect might happen don't happen. So in that sense, yes, it's a little unconventional, but it's a little frustrating too. The way I described it to my friend Tim McLean, um, is that they set up all these possibilities, um, for continuations or situations, uh, and then there's no payoff. There's no, almost as if they ran out of ideas. It's like they had like, how are we going to end this? Even though there were multiple ways they could have ended it, I know a lot of them are predictable and cliche. Like I said, go hunt down the dad and have a face off, and I guess they figured, okay, we're not going to do anything the traditional way, but they're not going to explain it either. And again, explaining it, that's fine. I think seeing the father and putting together the dialogue that I've put together, because it's not a dialogue heavy movie by any means. I think I've put together the proper picture of what's happened. You don't need the origin of the creature, the man lamb uh, killer. You don't need the origin, and you don't need to see Ada grow up or talk, and you don't need to see the mother try to wreak bloody revenge and herself get killed. All of that would be done in any number of other movies with this premise. So I guess I admire the unwillingness to trod ground that's well trod already. However, it didn't really trod any ground. It slowed down, kind of lurched to a halt, a slow go, and basically she looks lost, and then literally there's like a medium shot where she looks lost. I mean, the camera takes keep getting longer and longer. No, there's no indication what she's going to do. If she's going to do anything, I guess she feels totally hopeless and alone. Again, a lot of this stuff in this movie is subtext or has to be communicated through the actors and not through any kind of exposition, and sometimes not even through any concrete action. You almost have to guess from their expressions what's happening, and sometimes that works brilliantly. I mean, to me, it works brilliantly with Agatha Roussel's performance in Titan, in Titan, where for a long time she doesn't speak because the character's not supposed to speak because she doesn't want to be given away, and her face says it all, a million different emotions. Uh, and it's not that Numi doesn't have that capability. I'm sure she does. It's just I don't know what she was really given to work with. So, like I told my friend Tim, I felt like the movie it just ends. But it doesn't just end suddenly. It is kind of sudden, but you're wondering if okay, so is she just going to stand there, and then there's going to be some kind of denouement or the accretion, the what do you call it? The unity of effect is going to bring home, the story. But no, it ends, and that can be cool too. Sudden endings, but I felt like the movie just kind of puttered out. I don't think the ending was stark or powerful. I think it just ran out of steam and collapsed. So it had potential. I liked the creatures in it, the makeup. I loved the animals, and the guy who played the husband was serviceable. The other guy was, a piece of shit, and I guess in that sense he was a good actor. I don't know. Um, Numi Rapace was really good with what she had to work with. Um, the whole like lost children and motherhood and adopting the half human kid. I mean, all that's it's been done before too. And if it's done well, it is emotional. And of course, you don't want to expose the mutant offspring to the outside world. And the irony of the story to me, and I don't know if it was delivered or not, I found it ironic that the kid evaded and survived the incursion into their lives by the asshole Peter unscathed, only to be snapped up by the half human, half animal creature that's probably his father. Reminded me a little bit of the Marvel character Wood God, except evil. Another great character that Marvel will never do anything with again, or if they do, it'll be really cheesy. So that's it. I have spoken. That's my review of Lamb. I can't recommend it. I can't say don't go see it. It's a good curiosity piece, but I don't know. I don't know. It left me a little cold. Um, I don't know. If it had been a lot shorter, it wasn't really that long, maybe an hour and a half. If it had been a lot shorter and maybe gave us a little bit more depth on some level with some of the, with the mother and the creatures, then that would have been cool. Maybe if the dog and cat had had more to do, because they were fine actors. I'm really pushing it here. The sheep who played the mother really was a good actor. I don't know how they got her to do some of those expressions and things. So anyway, that's it. And that's part 4 of my Halloween specials. Definitely a horror film and a lot of tropes. Kind of borderline folk horror. Kind of borderline supernatural. That's it. So I wish I could say more. But anyway, that's my 3 cents on the matter. I'm going to go ahead and close out this very short episode. Next episode, I'll finally be discussing some recent films I've seen for the first time on streaming platforms that are Halloween adjacent and that I've viewed, and tell you my quick takes on those. Please leave a like if you watch this video. My viewership is increasing, my subscribers are increasing, but my likes are almost decreasing. So I don't know if people watching it just don't like it. I don't know if they're indifferent or they just forget. Maybe it's a combination of things. So if you do like it at all, just please take the second there to give me a thumbs up. I'm not trying to build this channel into a monetized empire, but I wouldn't mind having several hundred subscribers, and I wouldn't mind making a few cents off of it. It wouldn't hurt me or anything. It would certainly help. So, and then if you wish to contribute to the channel, to be a patron or purchase items for review, all the information's in the descriptions below, and all of the exhortations to subscribe, share, comment, feel free. And that's about it. So, peace out.